All right, hello. So I just finished listening to Clancy for the first time. This has been, yeah, it's a strange album for sure. I might make more updates after I listen to it a couple more times. Of course, I listened to the first three singles multiple times already. Overcompensate, Next Semester, and Backslide. I avoided listening to The Craving when it came out a few days before the album release, just because I knew the album was coming out soon. I just figured I'd wait to listen to it with the rest of the package. And this, again, it's been a wild ride of an album. I think this is a very disorganized album. It has some of the best songs that are in the 21 Pilots discography, but it also has some of the worst that I've heard. Number one being Lavish. I think Lavish is, it's, granted, I've only listened to it one time, but I think it's just a bad song. It's not good. I can't think of another 21 Pilots song I dislike more than Lavish. And then after that, The Craving. I didn't think that song was very good either. And then for songs that are good, like Snapback, which I know that's probably controversial based on the little that I've heard about it. But hear me out on that first. Oldie Station, I think that one's all right. But it's just like the ones that even I think are good just feel so out of place, especially with given the first three singles. But even out of the first three singles, Overcompensate feels a bit off. It feels like it's a little weird to, as an intro to the album. It just doesn't match the next two singles of Next Semester and Backslide. Those two songs are some of the most consistent songs on the album when like paired together. There's definitely other songs on here. Like for the most part, I think a lot of them do kind of fit in well, but yeah, like Oldie Station, Snapback, Lavish, The Craving, those none of those fit into the album at all compared to the rest of the songs. I mean, I just listened to it, so I don't have like what each of them sounds like directly in my head. So I can't say specifically which of the other ones sound like they more fit in, but I'm pretty sure every other song on the album definitely feels like it has a place. Even Overcompensate to some extent, at least like it goes into the drums, and it really just does fit in a little better later on. But oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Thank you. Uh Speaking of this album, okay. My nephew actually just brought this up. I bought the vinyl, I pre-ordered it, and it just arrived. What a coincidence that I happened to be recording when this happened. And oh my god, I just my hair is all over the place. Sorry, I just woke up not that long ago, and one of the first things I did was listen to the vinyl or the album. I just didn't want to listen to it last night because I was so tired, so I wanted to just be more alert when listening to it for the first time. Uh, Very cool vinyl though. Very cool. I'm very excited to listen to the vinyl. I still enjoyed the album, if that's not clear. It was just all over the place. It's nowhere near as together as Trench was, and even Scaled and Icy, which, by the way, I know that's a controversial opinion too. Scaled and Icy, even if you didn't like it, I feel like it's hard to say that the songs don't match. They all kind of sound pretty similar. They got a similar sound to it. I personally enjoyed that album. If you just take it as a fun album and not as a like super emotional or like super tied into the lore or whatever, then I think it's a good album. Even Blurry Face, because Blurry Face was kind of the start where they started really building up that story a bit more, this lore that they've been building up. That one felt more put together than this one. There's only a few songs on Blurry Face that I think feel a little out of place, like Doubt. Doubt is really out of left field for that album. But yeah, this one it's up there for one of the most inconsistent albums. But it's just so weird because, I mean, Next Semester and Backslide are some of my favorite 21 Pilot songs I've heard. Like, they're really, really good. And a couple of the ones on this one, I think I will like a lot more when I listen to them more. Let me think of one. Like, At the Risk of Feeling Dumb, Snapback, I like those ones. Midwest Indigo, Routines of the Night, Vignette. Am I saying that right? Vignette? I think I'm mispronouncing it. Either way, though, there's definitely some on here that I think I'll like a lot more later on, because I don't dislike them now. I just feel like I haven't really listened to them enough to have a solid opinion on them. I can just say that I liked them when I listened to them the first time. There's also like this cloud of kind of generacy. Is that even a word? Uh, Around this album, I feel like a lot of the songs just feel weirdly generic. There's very few that really took me, and I was like, wow, this is like super cool, super unique. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's because they're kind of extending their arms out to a slightly different genre, that it just feels like it's more generic within what they're going for. I'm not quite sure. Either way, though, this is basically just the first update for this album. It's hard to say. Sometimes it takes a little bit for these songs to grow on me. Even on Trench, it took me a couple listens to really, really enjoy it. I liked it a lot the first time, but some of the songs I didn't like until 2 or 3 listens. So it could be a similar situation with this, but yeah, again, Lavish and The Craving are both, they're not great. I think it starts to get better in the latter half, but then it ends, so it doesn't really get a chance to redeem itself. And The Craving, it's like fine. It just doesn't feel like it matches the album. It kind of cuts off the energy that is in the album. It would have been better if that was towards the end, so we didn't just lose that momentum that we had for the beginning, which I think that just kind of leads me to that the middle part of the album is definitely the worst. It's the worst part of the album. From Overcompensate to Vignette, it's fairly consistent. It's the most consistent section of songs on the album. But then once we get to The Craving, Lavish, I don't remember, I can't even picture Navigating. I added it to my playlist, but I can't even picture what it sounds like, which probably means that it wasn't particularly one of my favorites on there. Snapback, Oldie Station, they just all feel so different from each other, very inconsistent. It's just such a strange album. Again, though, I'm thinking I might add more updates to this. This is more or less just a video diary at this point. I just figured I'd record this since I just listened to it, get this off my chest, because to be honest, I'm a little disappointed with this at the moment. Especially those singles, they were all so good, minus The Craving. I didn't hear that as a single, so I'm not counting it. And then Overcompensate, while it was good, it wasn't as good as the other two. But the other two, again, were some of the best 21 Pilots songs I've ever heard. So the hype was really building up for this one for me. And that could be why it feels worse for me now, is that I have to come to terms that it's an album. Not every song is going to be top tier. Usually that's the case with albums. Even my favorite albums, there's a couple songs that are a little worse. No different here. I just feel I feel betrayed after enjoying the last 2 albums so much. I really, really like them. This is a strange turn of events. Oh god, I'm a bit sweaty. I got sweaty listening to it, I guess. But yeah, hopefully I'll like it more the more I listen to it. It's only one way to find out, and that's by replaying it a couple times. I'll probably be replaying that a lot more than just a couple times. Oh, and so supposedly the story for the lore is over. It didn't feel like it. This one also felt a lot less lore heavy. I don't know if that's just me, but it really didn't feel like there was a story being told on this one. Other than, Paladin Straight, Overcompensate, maybe a couple other lines here and there in some of the other songs, but it really didn't feel like it was holding up the story at all. It felt more just like it was straying away from that lore as much as possible. Because even looking back at Skilled and Icy, that one at least, it had a reason why it was supposed to be the way it was in the lore. So I don't know. I don't care that much about the lore to make that clear. I just think I do like a good story in an album. I think that's always cool, and this one just didn't really it didn't really keep up with that in my head. Maybe I'll pick up on more stuff later on. Only one way to find out. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and end this first segment here. I'll see you maybe in the next one if I decide to make another update, but for now, I'll see you later.